Hi, thank you for watching this talk. Today I'm going to talk about our design process of a dashboard for observing and analyzing student teamwork. During this talk, first I'll give you an introduction of why we decided to design this platform, what has been done before, and what's different in this platform. Next, I'll go through the different steps we took for design and evaluation of this platform. First, we had a round of interviews to realize what to include. Next, we did the design and implementation, and in the end, we had the evaluation of the platform. And in the end, I'll talk about our plan for the future. To give you an introduction, first let's talk about why we want to study students' teamwork. Teamwork has been central to industry work, and it's been included in many CS courses to prepare students for industry. It also allows students to learn from each other during this time that they're working together. However, many of the students are new to the concept of teamwork and they're not able to do it effectively. Also, observing and tracking students' process of teamwork is more complicated compared to individual work. So it's harder for instructors to observe students and intervene if necessary. Different online platforms that students use these days keep track of their activities and their interactions. Some examples are learning management systems like Moodle, which keep track of student online activities, discussion forums, which keep track of student discussions and talking to each other, development platforms like GitHub, where keep track of the students' development. And in the end, there are some visualization tools that give instructors a glance at their class at one site. Some example of these visualization tools, one example is Git Canary, which monitors students' progress and contribution to projects based on their GitHub activities. Another example is a platform that finds student roles in teams based on their forum posts and the keywords they use. For example, some students may be leaders in the team, some students may be doing more development. Another example is an interactive heat map analytics dashboard, which is based on Canva, and it's able to show student activity and performance to instructors. It could be focused on a single student or for the class as a whole. While all these tools give very useful insights to instructors, most of them are focused on individual student activities and they do not look at teams as a whole. Also, most of them are focused on a single platform and are not collecting data from different platforms and looking at an integration of that. The platform that we're talking about today is connected to an integrated system, which is collecting data from several online courses, online sources, such as GitHub, Piazza, and My Digital Hand. The current system is able to observe student activities from all these platforms and integrate it into the views that we showed the instructors. In the end, we look into the students' team-specific metrics like team totals and difference between team members to have an idea of how the team is doing and not individual people. To go through the design and evaluation process of this work, first, we had some unstructured interviews with instructors at NC State. We showed them our proposed design and asked them what they thought should be included, what their concerns were. And the second step, we designed and implemented the dashboard using the suggestions we got from the instructors. And in the end, we shared the implementation with instructors, watched them use it, and asked them some questions about what they think about it, what they would change about it. During these interviews, we talked to 9 instructors, which were teaching various courses at various levels at NC State. Some of them taught earlier CSE courses like CSE 216 and 116. Some of them taught more advanced courses such as HCI, game design, and senior design. We also talked to an instructor from the Department of History to just get an idea of what non-CS aspects of students' work they would look into. So let's look into the first round of interviews where we wanted to understand the requirements that we had for the system. During the first round of interviews, our objective was to understand the patterns that instructors look for in student activities, how they decide to make an intervention, and what kind of interventions they make in their classes. We also shared some sketches and some ideas that we had about the system and collected what their ideas and concerns were about the system. When we asked them how and what kind of interventions they make in their classes, out of the 9 instructors, 6 of them said they would reach out by email, set up meetings, or refer students to their advisors. 2 of them mentioned that they they may make changes to future course structures or the assignments based on the feedback they get from current courses. Two other instructors said that they prefer to make whole class level interventions, such as emailing the whole class. One of them said it was because their class size was too large and it was almost impossible for them to reach out to individual teams because they had maybe a total of 60 to 70 teams at each class. Another one of them said it was their teaching style and they preferred to remind students of different theories in learning, such as theory shows that the students who participate at discussion forums are more successful in class. Then we asked them how they decide to make an intervention in their classes. For the instructors who reached out to individual students, all of them were collecting student-submitted forms, such as self-evaluations and peer evaluations. 4 of them said they also look into students who are not meeting course expectations, like exam grades and assignment grades, and 2 of them were collecting some force statistics about what the students were doing, what kind of attendance they had, and overall of what was going on with each student. For the instructors who preferred to reach out to the whole class, both of them said they look into low class attendance, low activity on the discussion forum, and low participation in grade and assignments. For the instructors who used insight from the current class to update their future classes, both of them said that they look into trends in discussion forums to see what the students were happy or unhappy about, or what was more challenging for them, and take that into account when they want to update their future courses. So let's look into how we designed this platform. This platform is able to connect to an underlying integrated data collection system, which is called Concert. This is a big database that's able to automatically collect data from several online sources that the students use in their classes. This system is able to present live data based on this underlying system to the instructors. And in this study, we focused on the students' work on Piazza, My Digital Hand, and GitHub, because Piazza was able to show students help seeking while asking questions. My Digital Hand is tracking students' attendance to office hours, so we can know how they're seeking help while going to office hours. And GitHub is able to track their work and their submissions. After implementation, we tested this system on data from CSE 216 in fall 2020 at NC State. So this is a first page of the platform where the instructors can choose which course they want to view. They can choose which aspects of the course they would like to look into. Their help seeking on Piazza, help seeking at office hours, and the work distribution at GitHub. They're also able to select the time frame, start and end date, to look into activities during that time frame, so that they can look into weekly, monthly activities, or maybe if they have projects that have a specific start and end, they can look into activities during that project is going on. So on the next page, the instructors are able to view some overall class level charts, which shows them the averages, the outliers, what is going on in general with the course. So they can see, for example, about the Piazza questions, they can see how many questions each team has. And these are number of teams at each level. So it's like a distribution. We can see that, like, what is the average number of questions that each team in total asks? What is the average difference between team members? And then based on those insights from the charts, they're able to create some filters on right. We can see that, for example, in this case, the instructor is filtering teams that are asking more than 30 questions, and the difference of questions between 2 members is more than 5. So they're trying to find teams who are asking more questions, but also one member is much more active than the other in asking questions. We can see also that we're able to mix and match different filters from before, defining new filters, and then we can define a name for the filter and save it for using it later. On the next page, we can see the list of the teams that match this criteria. We also can see course averages on the left, which helps us compare the filtered teams to the average, of course, what's going on with the course. We can see for each of the teams, we list the number of commits they made in total and the difference between members. And we also show normalized difference to see what percentage of activities in the team belongs to one person and what was the difference. We also looked into the lines of code that they added to the GitHub. We looked into their Piazza posts and replies, and we looked into the number of times they attended office hours using my digital hand records. For each team, we also have a link to their GitHub repository in case the instructor wants to look at more details about that team. We also have a button to send an email to all the members, which we have defined a previous template for these emails, but our plan for future is to allow instructors to define their own templates. We also are able to view some charts specific to the team, which look like this. We can see the activities by each member. We can select or deselect each member, and we can see the activities by time, which helps us understand if one member was active at a time, the other one was active at later time or earlier time. We can see what kind of trends were going on with the team if we want to look into more details about the team. So in the next step, we shared this design with instructors and took their insight and evaluations. First, we asked them what kind of interventions they expected to make using this system. Out of the 9 instructors, 3 of them believed that they would use the filters to flag and further observe and maybe investigate some of the teams. 3 of them said they may set up meetings and ask questions based on the visualizations they have at this platform. They may even share the visualizations with the teams to tell them why they're worried about them. 2 of them said they would use this to find unbalanced teams based on the activities on GitHub to see if one member is doing much more work compared to the other. The 2 instructors who preferred to reach out to the whole class, they said that if they find worrying trends in class, they would reach out to the whole class and try and teach them effective teamwork. One instructor said they would use this to find trends such as role specialization in teams, such as you can see if one member is asking questions, the other one is doing more development, we can see that some kind of a role specialization is happening here. And another instructor mentioned that this tool would help them make their interventions from ad hoc, which is based on peer and self-evaluations at the end of the project, to real time when they can make changes and they can change something during the process of the teamwork so they can improve. When we looked at the instructors using the system, we looked into what kind of timeframes they selected. They selected all kinds of timeframes starting from 1 week to the whole semester, with the whole semester being the most popular, and at least each of the instructors chose whole semester at least once. We also looked into what kind of trends they looked into for this class. Some examples were teams who are not asking for help based on attending office hours or questions on Piazza, teams who have unbalanced work based on differences of commits and lines of code, teams who are active on Piazza but are not going to office hours. The instructor who searched for this mentioned maybe those teams are shy, or maybe they have a conflict with office hours. Another instructor looked into the teams who have only one member who's comfortable with Piazza, and also teams who are more active on Piazza. They said they may use the teams who are more active on Piazza to offer them teaching assistance for the future courses. We asked the instructors what they liked most about the system. 6 of them, which was the most popular one, was pre-filled emails, because they said it was the most time-consuming part of reaching out to the teams. So they said if they can save emails for different occasions and they can have different templates that they can edit every time, it would help them reach out to the teams more easily. 2 instructors said they really liked the single team charts, which could show them the trends and distributions of student activities in time. 2 others said that the link to GitHub was really helpful because sometimes you need more details about each team. And one of them said that the filtered team stats, the tables that you could see for each of the filtered teams, was really helpful because you were able to have a look at different aspects of their activities. For example, if they're not doing much work on GitHub, we can see if they're asking questions or if they're not. We also asked them about their overall evaluation of the system. 3 of them said that they believe most of the features that they need are there, but the system could still get easier to learn and use. 2 of them said that the system was really helpful. It was really useful to know how the students are working in teams. And 2 of them said that it is still time consuming to use the filters to make insights from the system, and they would prefer to have some insight at the first page that they could change, and every time they open the website, they can see some insights about their classes without making more changes. So based on these interviews, we made a plan for the future of this system. The first item on the plan is to make more personalizations. For example, having a first page that's specialized for each instructor. They can decide what to see on the first page. They can set their own filters. They can set their own timelines. And whenever they open that page, they can see those personalized listed items. We also plan to include data from more sources. As our underlying system gets connected to more sources, we're able to include those in the analysis in this platform. We also plan to collect and probably include student peer evaluations, because most of the instructors mentioned that it would really be helpful to look at what the students thought was going on in their team and compare it to the data we got about the class. We also plan to make the system easier and faster to use, because there were some confusions about the charts and it could really get more easy to understand and follow. In the end, we also plan to add some data analysis and machine learning tools, so the instructors do not need to check the charts and make the filters themselves, but they can use those tools to find who may be at risk in their class. The work in this paper was supported by an NSF plan who was supporting the design of the underlying system. I'd be happy to take any questions at the presentation or later by email. Thank you.